What is up, YouTube family? It is your girl GC the Trader, and we are back with another video breakdown, you guys. Today is Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, I believe January the 11th. This was the first official full week of January since the new trading year has started. So this past week we was able to trade Monday through Friday. So we're going to be going over this past week's trade. I did not trade every single day of the week this past week. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't catch a setup on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So my last two trading days of the week, Thursday and Friday, I was able to catch a setup. So those are the trades that we're going to be going over for this weekly recap slash breakdown. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's jump into this video, you guys. Alright, you guys, before we get started on this breakdown, I just want to explain a few things. As you can see, based on my chart, you do see that this was a break and retest trade from which you can see from the label. And for S&P, I have been back testing S&P for the last almost 2 months, and I did start off trading supply and demand with S&P, and supply and demand does work very well on S&P. But lately, I don't know if it's because, last year being the end of 2025, this being the beginning of 2026, S&P just has not been really how can you say, hitting the zones the way I want. Not saying that S&P hasn't been reacting to my zones. It's just lately S&P has been coming literally 1 to 2 ticks away from invalidating the zone just to go in the favor of the zone. You get what I'm saying? And yes, technically, that still is a valid supply and demand, but lately, S&P hasn't been respecting supply and demand the way I want to. Like, no candle closes in the zone and different things like that. So it has been playing out. It's just been playing out at the very last minute, and I haven't really too much been liking that. But over the last few months, I have been looking at another trader. Shout out to my boy RMP Profits. He trades S&P, and he trades break and retest on S&P. And break and retest was actually a strategy that I started using at the very beginning of my trade journey. It's just when I came across supply and demand, I did like how supply and demand was reacting off of my NQ zones, especially in the summer markets. So that's why I ended up switching to supply and demand and actually really sticking to supply and demand. But since I've switched from NQ to S&P for a while, I just hasn't been liking the way S&P has been respecting my supply and demand zones. So I've been back testing break and retest on ES, and I could say it has been working out very well. As you can see on the chart, we did take a L on this trade, but outside of that, yes, break and retest has been working very well on S&P, especially during my back test sessions. So these two trades that you're about to see on the screen is going to be well, of course, it's going to be S&P, but it's going to be break and retest. You're not going to see any demand, supply and demand strategy being used in this weekly recap, you guys. So yeah, now that I've explained that, let's get into this breakdown, you guys. So basically for the break and retest, you mark up the 8 to 8:15 candle, and then once you have that 8 to 8:15 candle, you just wait until the market opens at 9:30 just to see if price is breaking to the upside or if price is breaking to the downside. As you can see on this trade, we did take a L, but I wasn't too much tripping on that because I did follow the strategy rules. I have faith in the setup, and I took it. As you can see, eventually it did end up playing out in our favor a little bit, probably about 20 minutes after I was stopped out of the trade. But for the most part, I was okay with walking away with this minor L. So as you can see, price started to break to the upside, and it just kept breaking, just kept breaking, just kept breaking to the upside. So this is why I was so confident in taking buys, is because price never went into my zone all the way from when I marked it up. It never went in my zone, and probably about 10 minutes before I entered into the trade is when price started showing that it wanted to do some candle closes in that zone. So initially, you guys, let me zoom this in so y'all can see it a little better. Okay, as you can see, I entered on my midpoint tap on my 1 minute, and I got a little bit of push to the upside, which was why I still had faith in this trade. I got a little push to the upside, but as you can see, what time was this? Probably like 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes after the market opened. As you can see, price did drop in full momentum to my stop loss and end up stopping me out of the trade. If I'm not mistaken, I end up on my Top Step account. I end up, because I did 2 contracts, I ended up walking away with an L of $71. And then on my Theedgefunder account, I did 2 contracts as well, but it didn't put my full amount. Instead of 30 ticks, I think it ended up only putting 15 ticks. So on my Top Step, not my Top Step, on my Theedgefunder account, I think I end up losing about $39, and I'm gonna put my P&L for those trades right here on the screen. But yeah, you guys, this trade ended up being a minor L. And with the break and retest strategy, what I like about it too, from what my boy R&P Profits had taught a little bit on it, is it allows you to be able to go for a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, and it'll actually play out for that full time. So it does allow me to be able to use multiple contracts, because I haven't been really using multiple contracts while I've been trading. So this strategy allows me to get more familiar with taking multiple contracts, closing out some contracts in profit and leaving runners. So I've been trying to get into that more, and S&P gives small enough zones for me to risk 2 contracts comfortably and not feel like I'm over leveraging or over risking my profits. Sorry, y'all, I'm having my coffee. But yeah, this was Thursday trade. It was a minor L, wasn't too much tripping on it. So yeah, let's go to this next trade, which was on Friday. All right. Okay, you guys, this was Friday's trade, and as you can see, this was a winner using the same strategy, break and retest. This was a winner, you guys. So as I stated, I marked up my 8 to 8.15 candle. Notice price kept breaking to the upside. It did not do any downside breaking, minus right here. Zoom this out for y'all a little bit more. But yeah, this was the only minor invalidation of the zone, and I wouldn't even say this is a invalidation of the zone, because we all know that sometimes price will come and invalidate a zone, not to not play in your favor, but just to stop out some people whose stop losses was right here. So when I entered on my 1 minute and I noticed price doing that, I still had faith. I had my stop loss a position well below where price had broke, and ended up breaking my zone twice before it ended up playing out and going in my favor, you guys. And I'm gonna put the P&L on both my Top Step and Theedgefunder account right here. And as I stated in Thursday's trade, I did take 2 contracts on both my Top Step and my Theedgefunder. So I end up making about $150 times 2 on both of my accounts, minus some taxes and fees. Friday we walked away with about $296. I'm going to put my P&L calendar right here so that y'all can see that. So yeah, you guys, for this first official week of January of being back to the markets, of a full week of trading, being able to trade, I say, yeah, we end up taking 1 L. We end up taking 1 W. So we got our first L of the year, and we got our first W of the year. And now that's not going to be our last L, and it's not going to be our last W. But I did like the way this first official week of trading played out. I was very proud of myself that I was able to go into not a new strategy, but a new strategy trading live, and was able to execute it the same way I would with my supply and demand with ICC concepts, which I am going to get back into more of, trading supply and demand with ICC. It's just for me, ICC reacts so much better when you're swing trading. You get what I'm saying? And because I do trade prop firms, I can't do a lot of swing trading. So I'm chilling out on using the ICC concept, not because it doesn't work, because in past videos you can see it actually works, but it's just I feel that's better for swing trading. And because I can't swing trade, sometimes the setups I be wanting be happening way outside of my session, and I can't really get to it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go back to the ICC concept when I build up my live account. So at the moment, I'm putting money to the side so that I can build my live account, so that way I can start taking trades outside of normal prop firm market hours, and I can start getting into swing trading, shaving off a couple positions during the London session, well, during the New York session, and then leaving a runner to secure some profits and hold to the end of the New York session. So yeah, I will be getting back into that, but that's going to be more so when I'm doing my swing trading. So yeah, I was very proud of myself for executing these trades the way I did. Um, Honest and truly, the old me, after I took that loss on Thursday, I definitely probably wouldn't have went into Friday trading. But also too, I do have rules, and based off my rules, I still had room to trade, even though it was a Friday. And normally going into Fridays, if I take a L on Thursday, I will not trade Friday. But as you can see on my P&L calendar, which I'm about to put that back up on the screen, Monday through Wednesday, we did not catch a setup. Price was not reacting to my break and retest zones the way I wanted to. Also on gold, by the time supply and demand setups was playing out on gold, I was already looking at S&P. And once I'm looking at another pair, I really don't like to jump back and forth to pairs, because it kind of takes your focus away from what price action is doing in the initial pair you went into. So yeah, you guys, this was this week's trade breakdown. As I stated, we took one L, we took one W. We was able to end the week in green and with some profit, so I am happy about that. So yeah, you guys, as you can see, yeah, this trade played out beautifully. It did do a little minor break of this zone just to go tap into that London low that I had right there, just to go even higher than where I took my final TP at. So even if you would have waited for this price, waited for this movement right here, and I know people thinking, oh, well, price broke down. Didn't that mean the zone is unvalidated? No, not necessarily. Because as you can see, it broke down, and we already know price wants to market and price be wanting to convince people into get into the opposite direction, just so they could be used as liquidity. So when I saw this break, I knew we were going to be in buys. Even when I saw this break to the downside, I'm pretty sure some people got into sales, but on the higher time frame, we were still overall bullish. We have been overall bullish since December. We've just been having a lot of downward movement, and even when I seen this movement happen, I wasn't tripping, because I already know that's price correcting itself. You get what I'm saying? And they wanted to get as many people in sales as it could, so that they can shoot up into buys. And once you got this retest right here of the zone, you could have entered in and took that bad boy all the way up. That would have been a nice trade that played out as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if RP Profits caught the same setup I caught, or if he ended up catching this one later on in the session. But yeah, you guys, this was today's breakdown. Not too long, not too heavy, and I hope y'all had an amazing first official week, full week of trading for January. I hope y'all was able to secure some profits. I hope y'all was able to pass some funded accounts. And if you didn't, if you lost some funded accounts, it's cool. We still have 11 more months left in the year, and we still have a lot more days left in this month to do what you got to do to reset your mind, refocus, and come back Monday better than ever. So with that being said, you guys, I love y'all. Thank y'all for taking the time to go over these trades with me, and I can't wait to see y'all at the top. Your girl GC the Trader is out. Oop, I almost forgot, you guys. I did wanted to snip into this video the actual live trade I caught of this trade right here. I was able to record a little bit of the trade towards the end of it happening, so I am gonna stitch that into this video so that way y'all could take that out, that yes, I do live trade. So when you do see me doing these breakdowns on TradingView, that's just for TradingView purposes, because I don't mark up on my funded accounts. I only mark up on TradingView. But I did record that trade so y'all can see it. So yeah, you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. Check it out, and until next time, peace.